Hi, I'm Jim Covington. Today is July 22nd, 2015. I'd like to welcome you to this week's issue of ISBA Statehouse Review. Governor Rauner has signed more than 7, but I'm going to talk to you about 7 bills today that I think will be of interest to a wide variety of practice areas. If you want to look at the text of the actual public acts, if you go to the General Assembly's website, you can click on the public acts, and I've got the numbers on the page here. My recommendation is you use the PDF version because it's much easier to read and print off. The first of the 7 is Public Act 99-85, which creates the Parentage Act of 2015. It was introduced by Representative Kelly Burke of Oak Lawn and Senator John Mulrow of Chicago. And it is a complete rewrite of the Illinois Parentage Act, modeled after the Uniform Act from the Uniform Law Commission. I'm not going to go into a great deal of detail. In this month's issue of the Illinois Bar Journal, Matthew Hector has done a nice summary of it, and it should be linked to your PDF of this program that you can look at that summary. A related rewrite is the Public Act 99-90, which rewrites the Illinois Marriage and Dissolution of Marriage Act, and it's introduced also by Senator John Mulrow of Chicago and Representative Kelly Burke of Oak Lawn, and it's a major rewrite of the Illinois Marriage and Dissolution of Marriage Act. Matthew Hector, in this month's issue of the Illinois Bar Journal, has again done a summary of that, which is linked to your PDF, and I suggest you go to that for a nice summary. The next bill is Public Act 99-79, which creates the Uniform Interstate Depositions and Discovery Act. It's introduced by Senator Jason Barrickman of Bloomington and Representative Steve Anderson of Geneva, and it establishes a simple clerical procedure in which a subpoena from an out-of-state court is reissued as a discovery subpoena in Illinois. And all 3 of these bills have an effective date of January 1 of 2016. The next bill is Public Act 99-93. It amends the Citation Discover Assets statute. It's introduced by Senator Ira Silverstein of Chicago and Representative Jahan Gordon Booth of Peoria. And it expands the reach of this statute to compel appearance before the court of any person whom the petitioner believes may be liable to the estate of award under any civil cause of action. It also expands the statute to include, quote, assets, close quote, in the person's possession or control and or previously in the person's possession or control. And that's effective January 1, 2016. The next public act is 99-75, which creates a property fraud alert system in Cook County. It's introduced by Representative Greg Harris of Chicago and Senator Bill Cunningham, and it provides that a county that has a property fraud alert system, which Cook does, a county recorder may create a registration form to register a property owner on the county's property fraud alert system. A real estate professional may file a registration form with the recorder on behalf of a property owner, and that's effective January 1, 2016. The next bill is Public Act 99-69, introduced by Representative Barbara Flynn Curry of Chicago and Senator Don Harmon of Oak Park, and it codifies the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in Miller versus Alabama that a mandatory sentence of natural life without parole to a person under the age of 18 violates the 8th Amendment's cruel and unusual punishment clause, and the bill's application is prospective only. The court can still order that punishment, but it has to have an individualized hearing on it, and that's effective January 1, 2016. The final bill I'd like to talk to you about is Public Act 99-70, amending the temporary guardianship statute. It's introduced by Representative David Harris of Arlington Heights and Senator Steve Stadelman of Rockford. It amends the Probate Act of 1975 to provide that a temporary guardian has the limited powers and duties instead of, quote, all of the powers and duties, close quote, of a guardian of the person or of the estate that are specifically enumerated in the court order. And that takes effect January 1 of 2016 as well. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.